Ladies and gentlemen, this historically black neighborhood is disappearing due to gentrification. What really attracted me to this story is the name of the neighborhood and where it came from is actually a really interesting story. So, this is West Dallas, historically black neighborhood watches itself disappear. Mm, mm, mm. So, it's just like many other parts of the country that have been gentrified. It's not an exception here. So this is a Dallas historian. His name was Donald Payton. Says gentrification like that and Gilbert Emory is common nationwide. It's a story, he said, about the fight to endure and protect the face of development in traditionally Black communities. So, Gloria Johnson, a resident of the West Dallas Gilbert Emory neighborhood, one of the city's most sought after areas. According to the Dallas Morning News, the community received its name from Cecil and Helen Emory and Nathan and Margaret Gilbert, two Black families who ran grocery stores that provided food for the locals during the time of segregation. Wow. So that's how the neighborhood got their name. Mm. And during the time of segregation back then, our people could not shop anywhere they wanted to. Many of the old homes in the formerly red lined area have already been destroyed by the swift gentrification sweeping through Dallas. Johnson believes developers have taken the historically Black neighborhood's identity. Yeah, they have. I mean, I'm looking at the new, bigger houses constructed on the property. That says it all right there. We actually feel like the place that time has forgotten, Johnson said, who believes developers are trying to force her out of her neighborhood. The morning news reported. Not important, not significant. They don't care. While many of Johnson's childhood friends no longer reside in the area, she wishes to remain on the land her father worked two jobs to acquire. According to census block data, roughly half of the neighborhood's population was Black in the 1990s. People Black people now make up only a fifth of the populace. Dallas historian Donald Payton noted that the issue Gilbert Emory residents face is common nationwide. Yeah, it is. So, according to research, Black home ownership rates in Dallas are significantly lower than white ones. Payton said that the effects is a loss of Black culture, generational wealth, and community. Yeah. And once they really get more property in there, watch, it will probably not be called the name that it is right now. They're going to change that name. They're going to change that name. And you'll never know it was ever a historically Black town at one time. Mm. When you say gentrification, that's a new word. Peyton contended, the morning news reported. At one time, it was called urban renewal. Then it was called urban redevelopment. And then it all boils down to relocation. Greater Mount Pilgrim Church is the largest church in Gilbert Emory. While most of the congregation have moved to other neighborhoods, Pastor Ned Armstrong asserts that the church is here to stay. So he said, he had fewer visitors after contacting neighbors and passing out flyers. Yeah, I guess now that a lot of the residents have moved on and it's being gentrified, yeah, you probably do have a lot fewer visitors coming to the church now. However, he also noted that a few weeks ago, one of the church neighbors complained about the noise. Yeah, that is the number one thing these gentrifiers do when they come in your neighborhood. They all of a sudden complain about just the daily life the people are living. It's too loud, it's too this, it's too that. And they start calling the police all the time on the black residents that been there their entire life. That's what I mean, that is so common. It's not even funny. So it's the same thing you hear when other places are gentrified. Oh, it's the noise. All of a sudden, noise bother them all the time. These people are so full of crap. So anyway, the church is now getting noise complaints, which is very upsetting for parishioners who sit outside. Speakers are positioned on a structure, and they project the sermons and music selections in the parking lot. And you know how church has changed since the pandemic, and there are still people that have not been back to church. I got relatives in the South, the church they used to go to, they're still watching online. Everybody did not go back to church. Armstrong said the church attempted to purchase the property across the street where the Frederick Douglass School stood years ago. The school, which produced its own set of teachers and even a school principal, was so significant that many longtime neighbors still use the name. So, the school is not there anymore, but people still refer to it, the property, the lot that's there, as the Frederick Douglass School because it's just been there for so many years. Some residents in the neighborhood wanted to see the land develop into a city park after the school closed in 1980. Armstrong yearned for the neighborhood center. However, Dallas Independent School District sold the land to private developers for $1.7 million 6 years ago. A street sign pointing to the housing development is the only clue that a school once stood there. The site was once the first black school. It's one of the first black schools in Texas. Wow. And they said when you look at it now, it's a bunch of townhouses, and their asking price is $500,000 for these townhouses. Mm-mm-mm. They came in and we can't compete with those guys. They have millions of dollars, Armstrong said, the morning news reported. Next thing you know, it was sold. Boom, no notice. Man, really? That was really cruel. Yeah, well, that's what they do all around the country. So many of them had I remember when so many of them went into Harlem, they were trying to change the name from Harlem, and see, that's what they're ultimately gonna do in this Gilbert Emory community. It's not gonna be called that. Come back in about a few more years when more of them move in there. That's not what oh, they all of a sudden gonna have a problem with the name of the community, and it's gonna have to be changed. Oh, so typical. Y'all, please tell me what you think. I think this is sad to see these kind of neighborhoods fading away, but this is happening all over the country. At one point in time, they wouldn't come near any black neighborhood, but now they are beating the door down to get up in there and gentrify it. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.